So today's class is working on with the vagal system and looking at rest, digest, restore. So when you're in that perfect frontal vagal system nervous state, then your body naturally goes into relaxed, it goes into digestion, it goes into repairing anything that's wrong in the body. There's three branches of the vagal system. You've got the front one, which is the one we want to be in. We've got the middle one, which is fight and flight. And then we've got one at the very back of our body. And that is quite a primal one. And that's one that can take you into paralysis. It can cause people to faint and just fall to the floor if they're shocked. It can cause people to be paralyzed if they're really deeply, deeply afraid. So they're the three different states. But for us to be healthy and balanced, we need to be in the front one. So some of the things, really focusing on digestion, because digestion is wonderful when it's going well, but when it's not going well, then it's a problem for everybody. So it's good to know a few things that you can do to bring yourself out of, any sort of digestive issues that you've got, so that you don't have to go to the doctor. You don't have to take medication. You can just look at these things. Some of the things that can cause stomach problems: bad food combinations. I'm just quickly going through a few of them. Low stomach acid. Sometimes if you're getting reflux, it's not because you've got too much acid in your stomach, it's because you've got too little acid in the stomach, and the top of the lower part of the esophagus isn't closing properly. So then you get the stomach acids coming up. You can get GERD, which is a reflux that's caused by hiatus hernias and different things. So we're going to look at those. You can get lots of symptoms. You can get breathing issues if you've got any sort of problem with reflux with the stomach. You can get arrhythmias in the heart. You can get asthma. You can get pulmonary fibrosis. There's a whole load of things. COPD are all linked with stomach dysfunction. So the first thing we're going to do is look at some of the other structures in the body that are also involved with digestion, and that is the diaphragm, breathing, and the psoas as well. So they've all got a strong nervous connection to the gut, and the gut is the second brain. The gut releases neurotransmitters, the same as the brain, so dopamine and serotonin and noradrenaline, and all the different things that the brain releases, the gut does as well. So if the gut is out of balance, you're going to feel quite unwell, but you're not really going to know why. So one of the things we're going to start with now is breathing exercise. This is all of the things that we do are vagal releases. Every vagal release will affect and relax your stomach. So the specific ones for the gut, but any of the vagal releases that we know will relax the gut. So put yourself against the wall. Put the low part of your pelvis against the back of the wall. That part of your body stays on the wall. As you breathe, your spine will come into a slight flexion. Your upper body may leave the wall. So you're going to take your right hand out in line with your shoulder. You're going to put your left hand in the gap between the ribs and the pelvis. And you're going to breathe in for 5 through the nose. You're going to hold the breath for 5. And you're going to blow up an imaginary balloon for 5, and you keep breathing out until you feel tightening through the abdominals on that left-hand side. So it's diaphragmatic breathing. Do that 5 times, 5 for 5. So you're breathing in for 5. Feel the right side rib cage expand. Hold the breath for 5. Blow up the balloon for 5. Even just breathing in this pattern is enough to bring you into that calm, rest, digest, and restore state, parasympathetic nervous system. So again, breathing in for 5. Hold the breath for 5. Blow up the balloon. Again, breathing in for 5. If you can't sleep at night, this is a really good breathing technique just to bring you into calm and relax, to raise the nitric oxide in the lungs and to just make you feel quite sleepy. Hold the breath for 5. You might have gone a different, I've been talking, and then blow up the balloon. So my upper body is coming away from the wall now as I really use the breath. So again, breathing in. hold the breath, blow up the balloon, and then slowly lower the arm and roll up through the spine. So the breathing will bring you into calm. Balancing the diaphragm will bring you into calm, and also the diaphragm is connected to the psoas, which is connected to the gut, will all bring you into the beginning of starting to balance your digestive system. If you're nervous, if your vagal system gets out of balance, it affects the stomach in one specific way. There's lots of ways, but one of the specific ways is the esophagus runs from the mouth to just below the breastbone. And the upper third of your esophagus becomes short and tight if your vagal system is out of balance. And as it shortens and tightens, it pulls the stomach upwards, which causes reflux. It causes hiatus hernias, causes a whole array of problems. So hiatus hernia is when the stomach is pulled up above the line of the diaphragm and you get a bulge above the diaphragm, which then is trapped, and then you get all this acid and pain and problems. So you don't want to go to that stage. So a nice vagal release for the gut, so we know all the regular ones, but this one is specific for the gut, is to take 2 fingers. You could be sitting in a chair doing this, or you could be lying on the floor, as long as you can see what I'm doing. You're going to take 2 fingers and you're just gently going to start to jab at the navel, at the belly button. So as you're jabbing, your nervous system, your brain, through the vagal system, is starting to take notice of the gut. And the reason we do the belly button is there's less between the belly button and the gut here than there is anywhere else. Anywhere else you've got muscle sort of in the way, but at the belly button there's it's quite shallow there, and so you've got quite a good access to the gut. So you're doing that for about 20, 30 seconds. You're being gentle, but you're aware that there's pressure there. So once you've gotten used to that, about 20 seconds, you could make that into a blade and use 4 fingers. So a little bit more firm now. And what you notice when you do this one is you start to notice there's more saliva in the mouth. So as it stimulates the gut-brain connection, you start to get the saliva. You might also get the yawn, the sigh, and the swallow as well. So you're doing that for about 20 seconds. So maybe on a day that, it could be diarrhea or it could be constipation, but if you've got bloating, if you've got issues, just try this and just see if you can get the brain talking to the gut, get the peristalsis, which is the movement of the gut, a little bit more efficient, and just help the brain to really target the gut. So then, once you've done that for 20, 30 seconds, put 2 fingers together, put your knuckles together. So now you've created a 2-handed blade, and you're jabbing here, but you're not doing it in a painful way, but you're just using that pressure and the vibrations to really target the nerves of the gut. So if this is really effective, what we're doing today, and you feel you need to rush off to the toilet, that's a good thing. You might decide you might need to do that, who knows? Ideal bowel movements. There's controversy about this, but a good rule of thumb is in babies and animals, they use their bowels every time they eat. So if you had 3 meals a day, then you'd expect to have 3 bowel movements. That's in an ideal situation. Some people only use their bowels once a day. Some people it's once a week. It depends on what the problems are. But if you go to the toilet every time you've eaten something shortly afterwards, then that's a really good sign of a good, healthy, balanced gut. Good motility. So there you go. So you should have more saliva in the mouth now, and the gut is really talking to the brain through the vagal system. A Franklin method release is a really nice one as well. So massaging the abdomen, you can start by just sort of tapping, and think of it as a clockwise circle, or you can think of it as coming up on the right side, coming up the ascending colon. So I'm just using my fingertips across, sort of level with the belly button, transverse colon, descending colon comes down, and then it slightly comes inwards. So we're doing that again. You're coming up, right side, across just below the level of the navel, and then you're coming down and slightly in. So that sort of looks like a clockwise action. So if you've got stomachache, if you've got bloating, just tapping is going to really help through the vagal system. It's really going to help the nerves to balance what's going on. After you've gotten used to that, you could make it into 2 fists, and you could do gentle tapping with your fists, a little bit stronger. So think of a clock. You're going around the clock. So good for moving on gas if you're bloated, if you're in pain and discomfort. This helps to get things moving. It's going to stimulate peristalsis, which is the movement of the muscle of the gut. So you do it about 10 times. So you're always going clockwise, not anti-clockwise, moving in the direction that the gut is moving in. Okay, so then we could try, you could try sort of a brushing action. You're brushing up, you're brushing across, you're brushing down. So it's fairly firm pressure, and you're using that massaging stroke, so it's almost like a rinsing stroke. It's not really affecting the gut because the gut is so deep, but it's just messaging the nervous system to stimulate the peristalsis in that direction. Feels quite nice as well. If you get really bad colic or bloating and pain, one of the best things you can do is just to lie on your stomach on the floor or a firm surface, maybe a bed, and just lie on your stomach, and you'll find that the pressure and extending your body will just help to release the gas, release the spasm that the bowel has gone into. We tend to sort of want to pull our knees in when we're in pain, but that doesn't help. You need to stretch out and open the body. Stretch the psoas, stretch the diaphragm, and then that helps to sort of relax things. Small circles, so you could be doing this lying down on the floor. I'm doing it standing so I can show you, but maybe 3 fingers and then the other hand on top, and you're just starting low on the right side, and you're coming up the ascending colon, little circles. So you start sort of medium-sized circles, and you're going across. And then you're coming down, descending colon slightly inwards. So we do that a few times. So you start with a sort of a medium-sized circle. You could use a ball. I said about using a ball, so a little bit easier. I'm going to do that because that's actually quite nice. So really, you know, you're pressing down through multi-layers of muscle and organs to get to the gut, but the gut can feel this even though it's quite deep to the body. And you could make your circles smaller and more targeted. So if you've got tummy ache and you're a little bit constipated, you could just gently just use a ball or your hands, and you could just massage. Okay. So you're doing it about 10 times maybe. Like I say, if you feel like you need to rush off to the bathroom, please do. Okay, last time through. So, so we did tapping, we did long strokes, we did circles that were quite big, circles getting smaller. We used our fingers. Another thing you can do is you can take your hands from the back of your rib cage, so where your kidneys are, which are sort of just tucked under the ribs at the back, and you can do a long stroke that comes around through the waist and then moves down. So you can do about 10 of these brush strokes. So this is also bringing in kidneys, bladder. So the vagal system is important for everything in the torso, from the skull to the torso. No influence in the legs and the arms. but all the organs of the torso are all talking to the brain through the branches of the vagal system and some of the other cranial nerves. And the vagal nerve is the longest nerve in the body, and it wanders all through the torso and influencing and sending messages back to the brain about what's going on in the body. So you're doing those rinsing strokes. Okay. You can also just put your hands at the back of your kidneys and you can just tuck your chin. You can breathe in and you can gently arch and try and imagine that you're breathing into the kidneys. You're not actually doing that, but what you want to feel, exhale, is that you're stretching your diaphragm, your psoas, and all the fascia that's around the kidneys. So you're breathing in and you're making space for the kidneys. You're breathing out and you're releasing. So that's sort of a massage. It's an internal massage through the fascia and the viscera. As you breathe in, feel the kidneys slightly pull down. And as you breathe out, you come back into a regular position. So again, you're breathing in. So I've got my hands at the back of the ribs. This is a Franklin method release and breathing out. And you're using the visualization that as you breathe in, the kidneys are pulling down with the diaphragm. So diaphragmatic breathing is really important for the organs of the torso, especially the gut. So breathing in. So on that in-breath, you feel the diaphragm pull down, you feel the belly distend slightly, you feel those kidneys being pulled down because they're connected to everything that's around them through the fascia. And releasing. So you're just giving them a gentle massage, which makes them feel really nice, increases blood flow as well. So that's also going to help with the bladder and with the body getting rid of toxins through the urine. Relaxing. Just shake out the hands if you feel any tightness in the hands. So we're going to come to the gua sha tool. So if you haven't got a gua sha tool, you could just use the rounded end of the spoon, and you can use that to really, really sort of target through the meridians the gut action as well. So we're going to think of where the bottom of the sternum is, the breastbone. You've got the undercurve of the rib cage. So point 1 is under the breastbone to the belly button. So you want to, if you've got a gua sha tool, you're going to find a nice smooth curve. If not, you're using the rounded part of your spoon and you're going from under the breastbone just to the belly button. And you're going to do 10 slow strokes. So again, this is stimulating the vagal nerve connected to the gut and stimulating digestion. It's about 10. One on 6, 7, keep an eye on the time. I'm not sure how long this class is going to take today. 8, haven't done it before. And 9, and 10. So the second line, I'm just looking at my little chart here, is you come halfway down the curve of the rib cage, so halfway, and again, you're just coming down to the line that is level with your belly button. So 10 long strokes. And I can feel as I'm doing this that I am getting more saliva in my mouth. So you can always, you know, all of these releases are vagal releases, and you're going to get the side, the yawn, the swallow. As your nervous system balances, the muscles relax. So especially if we're doing this, we want that upper third of the esophagus to relax. We don't want that tightness in the upper body causing the stomach to be pulled up. We're going to look at that one in a minute. Okay, so anything that's on the midline, you do it once, but if it's off the midline, then you have to do its opposite. So halfway down the rib cage, this is line, same line, second line, and you're coming down to the level of your belly button. So this is really bringing in your diaphragm and your psoas as well. So if you look at the diaphragm and the psoas, you can't separate them when you do autopsies on bodies. The diaphragm and the psoas are connected to the gut, to emotions, and that's why if we get stressed, we can't eat, or if we do eat, we don't digest our food properly because it interrupts, you know, the gut action. And a lot of people say that we feel things in our gut first before we react in the brain. So people have, there's a whole load of sayings like gut feeling and can't think of the others, but we instinctively know that the gut is really important. That's about 10. The other thing is if we've got is disrupted digestion, it affects the blood flow to the spine as well. So you're going to end up with backache as well. So the third one is going to go from the belly button down to the pubic bone. So you're just going to find that smooth edge of the spoon or the gouache tool, and you're coming down to the pubic bone. So long strokes, nice and slow, firm strokes, but not painful. My pants are moving, so I'm holding my pants so they don't get in the way. So again, you could just lie on your bed and you could just do this if you're feeling like you've got bloating, if you're uncomfortable. Things that are going to cause you to feel bloated are like eating bad combinations of food, like eating meat with fruit. One requires acid for digestion, the other is more an alkaline type food. So and needs to pass through the stomach and get digested in the gut. So if you trap them together, then you get fermentation. If you look at FODMAPs, FODMAP, FODMAP diets, that will tell you some of the sugars that your body might be reacting to in some of the foods that you eat as well. So that's about 10. So we did 1, we did 2, we did 3. So the next one is 4, and you're going from the midline, level with the belly button, halfway across, you're going down towards the ilium, the curve of the pelvis. So we've got the ascending, transverse, descending colon, but we've also got the intestines that are all in the middle as well. So we're sort of really targeting all of them. So line 3 was on the midline, so there's only 1 of those, but 4 is on either side. So we're doing 10 of those. I think if you lie down as well, especially if you bend your knees, it relaxes your abdominal muscles. So standing is not great because the abdominals become quite taut. But if you're lying in bed with your knees up, then the abdominal muscles relax. You're going to get much better access to these meridians and these acupressure points. So acupressure points and trigger points, probably the same thing, but just different language, Chinese medicine and modern medicine. And again, other side. And again, they're really talking about the nervous system. So the vagal nerve. So halfway across from the midline, from the belly button line, you're coming down. So you can see how all of this is going to really help to stimulate the squeezing of the muscles of the gut to push the food through and to increase your motility, the function of your gut. Some of the things that you can have problems with is, just looking at my list of things, is diverticulitis. I mean, that is where you get little pockets in the bowel. And hang on, I've got the wrong sheet. Everything but. Yeah, you get little pockets in the bowel, and they can, you know, food can get trapped in those pockets. So this sort of thing is just going to help to push it through. Things like walking is really good for diverticulitis. High fiber diet. Not too much meat, because meat is low fibre and it can get stuck slightly in the pockets, but so can some of the vegetables and beans and pulses that we eat as well. So it's not just meat. So the fifth line, the final line, is from the midline, level with the belly button, as it's sort of, you went halfway out and now you're going to go another quarter. So you're a quarter way in and you're coming down through the top of the ilium. So the ilium is here, the curve of the pelvis. You're coming down and sort of following the curve of the ilium, just towards the groin. Don't go into the groin with the gouache at all. So, yeah, you can just be careful what you eat. Slippery elm is good if you've got diverticulitis. So is things like chia seeds, anything that is sort of slippery and just helps the gut, the food to move through the gut. If you've got low stomach acid and that's causing reflux, then apple cider vinegar in a glass of water is going to raise the stomach acid. So what happens with low stomach acid is, because the acid level in the stomach is too low, the top of the stomach doesn't close, and then you get, you know, acid and food coming back up in as reflux. So if you have apple cider vinegar, the acid level rises in the gut and then in the stomach, and then the opening at the top of the stomach shuts. So it's a really quick, easy way, is just to drink a glass of apple cider vinegar, and you'll find that if that solves the problem, you know it's because you've got low stomach acid rather than too much. So people tend to think that reflux is always high stomach acid, and it's not always the case. If you've got nausea, you take ginger. It's really good. If you've got an inflamed gut, you take turmeric. It's good for the gut. There's lots of things you can do. Already said, if you've got colic, you just lie on your stomach. So I'm doing this other side now. So a good 10 strokes. So we had line 1 was from the breastbone to the belly button. Line 2 was halfway out to the midline, level with the belly button. Line 3 was from the belly button to the pubic bone. Line 4 was from the midline, level with the belly button, down into the groin. Line 5 was further out, quarter of the way out again, and just following the curve of the pelvis and coming down. So you've gone down, really stimulated the circulation to the gut, and you've really helped. So coming back to the sheet, I've gone off a little bit there. This one is a trigger point release. So if you've got reflux, you know, maybe the top of the stomach just didn't close because the acid levels were too low. Maybe you're tight in the esophagus and your stomach is being pulled up and you're getting reflux. Maybe you've got a hiatus hernia where the stomach is actually coming up above the level of the diaphragm, and now you've got a trapped stomach and it can't close and there's acid, and it's causing heart problems, breathing problems. You can't sleep. If you can't sleep at night, a really good tip is the stomach comes down through the esophagus and then it curves off to the left, and then it comes around into the right side and comes down. So if you lie on your left side when you're in bed, the stomach falls away and the acid drops down into the stomach and keeps it away from the esophagus. So that's something that you can do if you've eaten too much just before bed. Try not to eat 3 hours before you go to bed, or drink too much before you go to bed, because that's not going to help. But if it's happened anyway, lie on your left side and you'll find that that reflux will stop. So a trigger point for reflux is the esophagus comes down to the bottom of the breastbone, and then the stomach curves off to the left. I want you to take 2 or 3 fingers below the breastbone, come down a little bit, maybe come down about 2 centimeters. And I want you to, maybe we'll do this with the heel of the hand, put the heel of the hand about 2 centimeters below the breastbone, put the other hand on top. And I want you just to gently pull down about 2 centimeters to 2 to 4 centimeters down. So you're pressing into the body and then you're pulling down. And what you'll feel is a stretch of your esophagus. Okay, if you felt below that, you'll feel on the left side, that's your stomach. You'll notice it if you've just eaten, you'll feel the stomach there. So we're not pressing on the stomach, we're pressing on the esophagus that comes down below the level of the diaphragm. We're pulling the esophagus down, and that's going to send a message through the nervous system, through the vagal system, to the brain to relax and let go of that tight esophagus higher up. So this is a quick release as well. If you've gone to bed, you've got acid reflux, you can't sleep, or even if you're just every day moving around and you've got acid reflux, just pressing 2 to 3 centimeters below the breastbone in the center, pulling down because the esophagus comes down through the center and then it goes off to the left. You feel the stretch, and what you'll get is the yawn, the sigh, the swallow, more saliva in the mouth. That's a sign that you've just relaxed that over tightness. So there's my swallow, and there's more saliva. So generally it's about 60 seconds, 30 to 60 seconds, like any of the other vagal releases. So 10 seconds is not long enough, but 30 seconds usually is going to put that right. So that's a vagal, a trigger point release for the gut and for the stomach. The gallbladder's on the right side. It's a little sac and it releases bile that helps to break down the fats. The meridian for the gallbladder comes down the iliotibial band. So get your gua sha tool or the long shaft with your spoon, and you're going to come down the right-hand side on the iliotibial band. So that's the fascial connection through the side of the leg. So the meridian comes down all the way to the ankle, outside of the ankle. So you're just doing long rinsing strokes. So it's going to stimulate the bile, stimulate the gallbladder. Often if you've got gallbladder issues, the first thing you might notice is you've got pain under the right side shoulder blade, pain in the jaw on the right side. So the neural pathways going up the body are going to go past the shoulder blade, into the shoulder, into the neck and the jaw. So any pain on the right side, if it's specifically the right side, then just check, with your doctor that it's not anything sort of gallbladder related. It might be the first sign that you've got gallstones or something like that. So just long strokes down the outer line to the ankle. They're coming down. So this is an unusual one. And again. So I'm doing 10 rinsing strokes. 7 for me. This is 8. Keep an eye on the time. 9. Last one, 10. So that's the meridian for the gallbladder. Just do the right side, there's no gallbladder on the left. So we're going to come to the floor. Oops. Take your gua sha tool. If you've got your gua sha tool, we might use that again if we've got any time at the end. You're lying with your knees bent because that relaxes your abdominal muscles. And just with your fingers, just come to the middle of the rib cage, just under the breastbone. So this is our solar plexus here. There's a whole a bundle of nerves here. It's not comfortable to push here. You're going to slightly come outwards and you're just going to put your fingers under the rim of the rib cage, and you're just stretching downwards towards the side of the rib cage. So this is a diaphragm movement. I just put my thumb up and you get the thumbs up. You're going to do it? No. AI is very scary. So you're just pulling under the ribs towards the side of the rib cage. There it goes again. The camera can see my thumb, so it's giving me a thumbs up. So you're just stretching. So you're stretching the abdominal fascia, and you're also connecting to your diaphragm via the fascia. So more nerves in the fascia than there is anywhere else. And then just gradually working your way down from the center line of your body, working outwards. So I've reached the navel now and I'm stretching outwards towards the obliques in the waist, going below the navel and just pulling outwards. So fascia loves to be stretched. Going all the way down to the pubic bone, and I'm working between the two curves of the pelvis, so it's getting narrower and narrower as I go down. Work your way back up again. So it's really nice to go under the ribs. There's a lot of tension through here. So then you could do a sort of a Chinese burn. You're sort of squeezing the skin and twisting it, and you're coming down from the ribs towards the pelvis. So that's a little bit like what we did with the gua sha tool. Same line. So you're just grabbing the skin, you're twisting it and pulling it. You don't want to hurt yourself, but you want to feel that you create heat and warmth as you're doing it. So that's stimulating the circulation, and it's really hydrating the fascia through here. You come down the other side. Now a few times, and then you're going to go diagonally from the ribs to the opposite hip. So that's all part of our spiral line. So we're going from the edge of the rib cage, Chinese burn through the belly button, which is the middle point of the abdomen, and then across to the ASIS on the other side. And then do the other side, side of the rib cage, through the belly button line diagonally towards the opposite ASIS. Just do that a few times. You could do this in bed at night. When you've got no clothes on, it's a little bit easier to go under the clothes. And then you could just sponge the obliques. So I've got my fingers on top and my thumbs underneath. I'm just gripping the waist and I'm just rolling. Squeeze the water out of the sponge and just get into your external, internal obliques. And then after you've done that 5 or 6 times, put the thumbs on top and the fingers underneath and do it that way. They both feel nice. The thumbs are stronger than fingers, so you can get more direct pressure, but 4 fingers gives a nice massage. So you're doing 4 fingers on top, 4 fingers underneath. So that's an abdominal massage. So now I'm just going to move my notes. I think I've done that one now. I'm just checking I haven't missed anything out. Nope, come back to that in a minute. Done that one, done that one. Yeah, so things that are good for the gut, walking, Pilates is good. Taking electrolytes, so our body needs potassium, magnesium, and sodium for peristalsis, for muscle action. So make sure that you're not getting dehydrated and running low with your electrolytes as well. So let's start with lying on the back now, just coming into some exercises that are really good for bowel action as well. So we're going to put our hands on the side of our rib cage, put one hand on the top of our ribs and one hand on the side. Just take a deep breath and ask yourself, where do I feel the most movement? So take 2 or 3 breaths so you can figure that out. So if you're breathing with your diaphragm, the low ribs in the side will move out to the side. If you're doing what's called apical breathing, you're breathing with the upper lungs and the neck muscles and the shoulders, you're going to be breathing into the upper hand. That's not good because it's going to cause neck pain and forward head postures and all sorts of postural problems, imbalances in the muscle. So do that again. Are you breathing into the top hand or are you breathing into the side hand? So when we get anxious, we start to breathe in the top of the lungs. We start to bring in our neck muscles and our shoulder muscles to create breathing, and even our chest muscles, which are meant to be auxiliary breathing muscles, not primary breathing muscles. And then we start to get into trouble. So put the hands at the side of your rib cage
And I want you to breathe in through the nose for 5. Feel the ribs moving out to the side. Hold the breath for 5. Blow the balloon up, breathe out through the mouth for 5. So again, breathe into the ribs for 5. Feel both sides of your rib cage expand at the sides. Hold the breath for 5. Blow the balloon up. So this diaphragm breathing massages the organs in the torso, the guts, all the other organs as well. It's a really healthy thing to do, breathing in. Feel the diaphragm pull down on that in-breath and your belly push out. Hold the breath. Blow the balloon up. Feel the diaphragm pulling up under the ribs and contracting your abdominals. Do that again. Breathe into the ribs in the sides. For 5, hold the breath. Blow up the balloon and feel the abdominals contract with the diaphragm. You'll even feel a little bit of a pull on the back of the rib cage as you do this on the out breath. So one more time, breathing in. Expand those low ribs, hold the breath, raise the nitric oxide, which will calm you down and bring you into that parasympathetic, relax, digest, restore state. Blow up the balloon and feel your abdominals contract. Feel that little bit of tension in the back of your rib cage. And relax. 5 breaths is comfortable. If you wanted to play around with that, you could try 6 breaths of each, 7 breaths, 8 breaths. Eventually you can increase that up to a higher number, maybe 10. But, you know, just something to do, especially if you can't sleep at night. It's a really good way to raise the nitric oxide, calm you down and help you to sleep. So now we're going to put the hands in the gap between the belly, the ribs and the pelvis in the belly. And we're going to do a bridge. So maybe take the pillow away from the head if you've got a pillow. So breathing into the belly, breathe in through the nose for 5. As you hold your breath, drop your belly button into the floor, draw your sit bones together, tuck your pelvis, and then breathe out and lift up into your bridge. Stay here, breathe into the belly, let the belly feel the hands, feel the spine arch. Hold the breath, and already you're tucking your tailbone under, and then you breathe out and you roll down through the spine on that count of 5. So a lovely abdominal massage, great for the intestines, great for the colon. So again, breathe into the belly, let the belly feel the hands. In through the nose. As you hold your breath, drop your belly button into the floor, draw your sit bones together, tuck your tailbone under, so that you're ready when you breathe out to lift up into neutral spine. So again, breathe into the belly, you'll come a little bit higher. Find a stretch that feels comfortable. As you hold your breath, you're already tucking your tail under, and then when you're ready, you breathe out, you roll down through the spine. So if you're constipated, if you've got bloating, if you've got stomachache, this movement, this rhythmic movement will really help to relax things. So again, breathe into the belly. Let the belly rise into the hands, using the breath, not the muscles. Hold the breath, but you're dropping the belly button into the floor. Draw the sit bones together, tuck the tail, pelvic tilt. And then when you breathe out, you're lifting up into your bridge. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe into the belly, breathe in through the nose. As you hold your breath, you're tucking your tail. 2, 3, 4, 5. It gives you a nice stretch in your hip flexors. Breathe out through the mouth and you're blowing up the balloon and you're rolling down through the spine. 3, 4, 5. One more time. Breathe into the belly, arch the spine. 2, 3, 4, 5. As you hold your breath, you're dropping your belly button, draw your sit bones, tuck your tailbone. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out and lift up into neutral spine. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in again, expand, let the belly rise. 2, 3, 4, 5. As you hold your breath, just tuck your tailbone under and feel the stretch at the front of the pelvis. 2, 3, 4, 5. And breathing out, blow up the balloon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So all the time we're doing these vagal releases, we're balancing the nervous system, working on gut function, heart rate, breathing, blood pressure, flexibility in the spine. The list is very long of all the benefits that you get. Just pull the shins in. So remember, if the gut is not balanced, if you've got reflux, it's going to cause breathing problems, it's going to cause heart arrhythmias, it's going to cause asthma, it's going to cause a whole array of problems that you might not even associate with your stomach. Bring your head into your knees. If you go to the doctor, they just give you something to suppress the symptom and not deal with the cause. And often things like antacids are actually going to make the problem worse. And antacids also cause osteoporosis and a whole load of things that are not good for the body. And just slowly roll down. And it's not the doctor's fault, they're not really taught these things. So take the feet down to feet hip space, and then just walk your feet out to the width of the mat. Now we do this one all the time in Pilates. We're rolling the knees. So spiral line exercise, but it's also going to massage. As the spiral line crosses over at the belly button and wraps around, it's massaging the intestines and the colon, and we're also stretching out the legs and the hips. So if you want to bring the upper body in more, you take the hands above the head into a diamond shape. You can move your nose opposite, away from the knees. So as you move the spine now, you're stretching your psoas. And go back into your diaphragmatic breathing. So you're breathing into the belly. So using diaphragmatic breathing as you do this is going to increase the massage to the organs of the abdomen. Okay, so just keep going with this, one at a time. So instead of doing the bouncing knee, which is more for the hips, we're just doing the rolling knees to massage the intestines. So exercise is really good for gut function. It increases motility. I think most people know if they exercise that their gut and their digestion is greatly improved. So coming into center, bring the hands back, bring the right knee in, stretch the left leg out. So that's the hip flexor stretch. But if you want to massage the intestines, you do a little gentle pump. You pull the knees in. So make it gentle. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And just really focus on what's happening underneath the thigh bone. So you're really using the thigh bone and the muscles of the leg to gently massage the abdomen on that side. See if you could do your belly breathing while you're doing this. So you're breathing into your belly. So as your belly rises, you feel the massage even more. Breathe out through the mouth. In through the nose for 5. Hold the breath for 5. You could float the head if you want to. So floating the head is going to increase the pressure in the abdomen. And then blow up the balloon. You could lower the head on the out breath. So breathing in through the nose. Pumping the knee. As you hold the breath, you could float the head. 2, 3, 4, 5. Lower the head, blow up the balloon. 2, 3, 4, 5. Switch sides. So we're not so much focusing on the hip flexors, we're focusing on using the bent knee as a massage tool. So you're gently pumping the knee. You might need the hip to relax a little bit before you start to feel the abs, feel the gut. So you bring in your belly breathing, you're breathing in through the nose, 2, 3, 4, 5. As you hold your breath, maybe you float your head, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lower the head, so you can really feel your stomach and your intestines as the head comes up, because you're applying pressure from above as well with the diaphragm. Blow out the balloon. So again, breathing in through the nose, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As you hold your breath, maybe the head comes up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lower the head, blow up the balloon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more time, breathing in through the nose, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe float the head and hold your breath, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lower the head, blow up the balloon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And hug both knees for a minute and just give yourself a rest. So just hugging the knees and just take a few deep breaths and just see how the land lies, how you feel. So we're going to come into, hang on, make sure I haven't got ahead of myself. You're going to take your right foot to your left knee. The figure 4 stretch. You're going to take the hands out in line with the shoulders. I'll do it this way. I'm going to take my left foot to my right knee, just so you can see the direction that we're moving in. So left foot on right knee, palms down on the floor, and you're gently going to roll the left foot to the right, but keep your shoulder blades firmly on the floor. So what you're creating is a twist through the abdominal region to massage again the intestines and the colon, stimulating peristalsis, stimulating circulation. So find a comfortable range. It's not about touching the floor. It's about the stretch through the midsection. You could play around with the head rolling in the same direction as the foot, or you could take the head in the opposite direction. It's going to bring in your psoas and your spine a little bit more. So the psoas has got a huge connection to the gut. So the psoas is what's called the emotional muscle because of its nervous connection through the nervous system into the gut. They talk to each other. So as the psoas is stretching, that's also creating communication to the gut. Now you could also take that left knee to the left side, keep the shoulder blades down, and just feel the stretch. You're going to feel the stretch in the diaphragm. So maybe you're breathing in as the knee falls away and breathe out as the knee comes to center. So breathing in, you feel your diaphragm, you'll feel your psoas. You breathe out, you come to center. So all the deep viscera of our gut. Breathing in as the knee falls away. Breathing out as you come to center. 2 more. Breathing in. So it's not about range of motion. It's not about the bones. It's about the muscles, the fascia, and massaging the organs inside the torso. Last one. Come back into center. Uncross the foot. And now take the right foot to the left knee. Whatever you do, do the other side. I might have changed what I did and you might be doing the other side to me. So you're taking the foot that's on the knee and you're taking it to the opposite side. So I've got my right foot moving towards the left side. Keep the shoulder blades on the floor. Doesn't matter too much because we're going to do it both ways. But keep the shoulder blades on the wall. So when the foot is going to the opposite side of the body, you're going to get that stretch in the midsection of your torso. If the shoulder blades lift, you'll just roll and you won't get much of a stretch. So keep those shoulder blades and palms on the floor. Maybe the head is rolling with the foot. Or maybe the head is turning away from the foot. So again, that's your psoas, your diaphragm. You're breathing in as the foot falls away. Feel the diaphragm pull down, breathing out as you return to center. So now take that same knee that's lifted and take it to the same side. So for me, right knee, right side. Keep the shoulder blades down. Breathe in as the knee falls away and breathe out as the leg comes back in. Breathing in, breathing out. One more time, breathing in, breathing out, and uncross and take the feet to the floor. So just to finish now, we'll come on to our front. So if you've got really bad colic, if you've really got bad stomach ache, got bloating, got wind, just lying on your stomach is going to stretch out the front of your body, which is going to help to release tightness and spasms. If you were to bring your elbows in towards your rib cage and just gently push your heart forward and your lower ribs into the floor, you're going to stretch your diaphragm and your psoas, and put the tongue into the roof of the mouth and just take a deep breath in and breathing out and relax, and you can relax your head down. So do that again, tongue into the roof of the mouth. As you breathe in, push the heart forward, gently push the ribs into the mat. Feel that stretch through the abdominal fascia, through the psoas. Exhale. Take your right foot and tuck your toes under and push into your right heel, and you're going to lift the heart. You're going to breathe in, and now you're going to turn away from the straight leg, and you're going to push into the heel of the straight leg. And then you're going to come back to center. So as you push the heel down and away, as you lift your heart and turn away, you're stretching your diaphragm and your psoas again. So remember, they're connected to the gut, and you come back into center. Point that toe down, tuck your left toe under, left leg straight. You're going to lift the heart, you're going to turn away from the left leg, and you're going to breathe in. Feel the belly pushing out, and breathe out and turn back into looking forwards again. So push into the left heel, float the head and the heart, breathe in and turn away from the straight leg. Feel that connection from the diaphragm to the leg. Breathe out, come back into center, and then just put that foot back down. Bring your knees together, push back into kneeling. Very quickly, because we've run out of time, you're breathing out the cat. You're breathing in the horse. Very good exercise for massaging the gut. So you're breathing out, rounding, breathing in, looking forward. Two more, breathing out, rounding, breathing in, looking forward. One last time, breathing out and rounding, breathing in, looking forward. And then just sit back into the heels. Just do a child pose for a minute and just stretch, take a breath, roll up into sitting, and that is rest, digest, and restore. So hopefully you're feeling nice and calm now, and your gut is nicely working and nicely active and coming back into a good state.